I was kind of a fucking loser. Straight up. I mean, I sat around playing video games for hours every single day like it was a full-time job, and it was horrible. Well, it was fun, but it was horrible for me. And yeah, even though I kind of had like an easy life, if you want to call it, I had a pretty good upbringing. I got to eat all the junk food I wanted. I played all the video games I wanted, and I really had it all, if you want to call it that. But I was still kind of miserable. I already made a whole video on why I choose a harder life now, and how I had an easy life before, and you should definitely check that out if you're more interested. But basically, the main thing I want to point out is, yeah, I had an easy life, and because of that, it kind of made me a loser. Think about that. Having an easier life makes you a loser. And I am living proof of that. But the thing is, I'm really grateful for that different life that I had before. I mean, being a loser is kind of a good thing as long as you're making a change, right? You don't want to just be a loser and that's it. You just stay a loser. You don't want that. One thing that's really important too is everything that has happened in my life has led up to where I am right now. Like, really think about that. Let that settle in. Every single choice, every single action that's ever happened, I've ever made, has led to me being right here talking to you in front of this camera about how being a loser is awesome. And I am very grateful for everything that's ever happened because I'm very happy with my life now. I wasn't always like that. I was a loser. You're not exactly happy when you're a loser. And another thing to remember is, what if my life was just a little bit different? Like maybe my life was just a little bit better, so I would have never changed my ways. I would have never started self-improvement, and then, maybe would have never started this channel. Could you imagine that? Evan Arginal might not have ever existed because of just one little choice. It's crazy. But now I do more work than ever, and I do all these hard things that people would consider even weird, like meditating. I journal. I even take cold showers, for God's sake. Like, I do all these things that people think are like, dude, you're crazy. And I do this shit every single day. And I'm probably the happiest in my life that I've ever been, even after doing all this hard work. And of course, I talk about that more in my other video, but basically doing these hard things and like taking the hard way out, if you want to call it that, it makes you less of a loser. Like when I work on myself and I'm more productive and I'm building up this channel, and it's just, I mean, can you really call someone a loser for doing all these great things? Probably not. I mean, sure, maybe I'm a loser in someone's eyes. I'm always going to be a loser in someone's eyes, right? But it doesn't matter. Like, I know for a fact that I look at myself and I don't think I'm a loser anymore. And that's why, because I did the hard work. It's not a coincidence. And I used to look at my older life and I think of how much time I wasted, and, I could have done this and I could have done that. And the thing is, the past, you can't change the past. It's there, and you're only supposed to learn from it. You're not supposed to look at your past life and think, oh, I was such a screw up, like I could have done this and that. And like, I mean, yeah, you can do that, but where's that going to get you? It's just going to make you feel worse and in turn ruin your future. You don't want to ruin your present and future because of your horrible past life. That's such a waste. You have to use your past, think, okay, I screwed up here. I played too many video games here. Maybe I should have been studying, or maybe I should have been working a bit more instead of wasting time. And then you learn from it. And then you just do better now. Because you do better now, your future self is he's gonna look back at you and think, great shit, Evan. Like, good stuff. And this is where the gratitude part comes in. Because I did say that I was grateful for it. And the thing is, yes, I am grateful that I was a loser. Now, gratitude that I was a loser basically means that I could have done better. And yeah, and that's great, because now I'm using that gratitude as for being a loser to do better in my life. And it's awesome. Like, I'm grateful for realizing this in my early 20s too. Could you imagine if I was 50 and I was like, I was kind of a loser for the last like 50 years. Like, what a waste. But it's just like, yeah, I could have realized this when I was 18 or something, but there's all these could haves. Remember what I was saying before? It's just, obviously I could have been hustling since I was out of the womb, but like, that's not going to change anything. I'm working hard now, and it's all that matters. And as I was saying before, if you are in a rough spot, great. That means that you can be in a better spot. And it's just like throw back to being a loser. It's just like, yeah, as a loser, that means you're probably not in a good spot. But now that's great, because you can use that as like fuel for your fire so you can do better and be a better person, right? Like, when you realize that, it just makes you want to change for the better. At least for me, that's what happened. When I realized, like, I can't be doing this shit anymore. I just, it really made me want to change my ways. Around 2, 3 years ago, more like 2 years ago, beginning of pandemic, basically I realized like I can't keep doing this. And then for me, my solution was self improvement. I mean, if you've watched any of my videos, you should know that I've been doing self improvement for a long time, and I've been constantly trying to improve myself. And I mean, I can't just say that I'm not a loser now, but I am definitely way less of one than I was before. And that's what matters. The fact that you're just a little bit better than you were yesterday. I know it's cliche, right? But to say that, but if you're just a little bit better every day, imagine like 10 years later, maybe even just imagine a few months later, you're going to be in a hugely better spot. That's what you want to strive for. So to kind of wrap this whole video up, being a loser is probably the best thing that could have happened to me. Like, if I had a perfectly comfortable life growing up and everything just fell into place and, maybe I wasn't a loser, right? I wouldn't have any reason to change my life, right? I mean, like if you're in such, maybe you're genetically gifted and you had everything handed to you, why would you even try to do better? Those people end up getting screwed over way later in life because they don't know how to work hard. But if you were not given these advantages that these other people have, that is an advantage in itself to not have advantages if you capitalize though, because inaction is useless. I mean, you can just look around you and you'll find people who won't take action. They're everywhere. But when you decide to take action, you decide to change your life, it's just power to you, man. So if you're a loser and you realize and you can recognize that, don't think it's a bad thing. Use it as like ammo to do better. It's a good thing. Use that as like the fuel to really like light the fire under your ass so you can do something amazing. I'm living proof that you can be a loser and come out on top. You just have to try. And now I wouldn't say I'm on top, but I'm on my way. And I know I'm going to be there because I am taking action. All right. Well, I'll see you in the next one, and don't forget to do some epic shit. All right. See ya.